You think your sync folder is a backup? Well, it isn't. You think the cloud is private from the provider? It usually isn't. And you think a fast internet connection means fast cloud uploads? Well, I've tested that on the same connection for years now, and one provider was more than 3 times faster than others. So same connection, same files. So today we're debunking 6 biggest cloud storage myths, including some that even the most tech savvy of you probably believe. So let's start with one that costs people the most files. Myth number 1, your sync folder is actually a backup. I get it, it's an easy assumption. Your files are in OneDrive or Google Drive or Dropbox. Your laptop dies, you log in on a new machine, your files are right there. Looks like a backup, right? I hate to break it to you, but if your only copy of, say, your tax returns lives in a sync folder, you don't have a backup. And let me show you why. Delete a file in your sync folder, wait 2 seconds, now go look in the cloud. It's gone there too. The sync mirrors deletions, it mirrors corruption. So, good example is if ransomware encrypts your laptop tonight, your sync folder syncs that encrypted version straight to the cloud by morning. And here's the way I think about it. Sync is a mirror. A backup is a photograph. A mirror shows you what's there right now, including the empty space where your file used to be. A photograph captures a moment in time so you can go back to it later. So what do you actually want? True backup, versioned, automatic, separate from your sync. That is actually what most of you want and what most of you should actually incorporate. For me, if you want to go cloud, then iDrive is probably a very good starting point. You get up to 30 file versions, automatic scheduling, and multiple devices on one plan. And if you'd rather have like one product that does both, I probably look for pCloud and Internext, which bundle the basic backup alongside their main storage and synchronization functionality. All right, that's the mirror problem. Now let's talk about who can read your files. So here comes myth number 2. Your cloud storage is private from the provider itself. You upload to the cloud, you set a password, your data shows up encrypted in transit. So of course it's like private, right? You'll often see the term zero-knowledge encryption. And think of zero-knowledge as the marketing term and client-side encryption as the actual technology. They refer essentially to the same thing in cloud storage and will stick to client-side because, in my opinion, it's more accurate, and we're all about accuracy here at CloudWords. Most mainstream cloud storage uses server-side encryption. Now, the provider holds the keys, so they can technically decrypt your files. Client-side encryption flips that. Your files get encrypted on your device before they leave it, so the provider never sees the keys. There's basically 3 categories of cloud storage here. Now, Sync.com, Proton Drive, Internext, Filen, Mega, and TreasureIt are zero-knowledge by default, which means the provider can't read your files even if they wanted to. Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and iCloud are server-side, so the provider can read your files. Then there is the in-betweens, I would say. So pCloud Crypto and Box KeySafe are like paid add-ons to each provider's roster of services. And if you are a long-time viewer, you've heard me complain about this before. It's like a car manufacturer charging extra for the seatbelts, if you will. And that's a no-no in my book usually, but hey, at least it's there if you don't mind spending a little extra. Want a 30-second test you can run yourself? If you can reset your password and get all your files back without any extra recovery key, your provider has the keys. That's not zero knowledge, which means they hold the keys, not you. So what do you do? If privacy by default matters, pick something like Sync.com, Proton Drive, or Internext. Sync.com was my number 1 in the most recent encryption ranking, and Proton Drive is a strong second contender with Swiss jurisdiction on top. I made a video on what zero knowledge actually means in plain terms, so check that out right up here if you really want to get into it and see if it's something that you need for your files. And as usual, I'll leave links for all the services in the description box below. I keep these links updated, so you're always getting the best price. Now, let's talk about whether your provider can actually move files at the speed you're paying for. So here's myth number 3. If your internet is fast, your cloud will be fast too. And providers are basically all the same, right? You pay for fast internet, the cloud is just the pipe. I mean, faster pipe in, faster cloud, right? I mean, honestly, this drives me crazy. I mean, I regularly test over 30 cloud storage services on a throttled 100 megabit connection, probably pretty similar to what you have at home. Maybe you have a faster connection, maybe you have a slower connection, but I'll test it always with the same 5 gigabyte folder for like 4 years running. And during my testing, the fastest uploader was iDrive at 100 megabits per second, fully saturating the line. The slowest mainstream uploader was Phylin at only 27 megabits per second. That makes iDrive 3.7 times faster than Phylin on the same connection with identical files. It's like having a 10-lane highway that ends in a 1-lane bridge. Your home internet is the highway, and some providers are just the 1-lane bridge, unfortunately. So why does this happen? And this is what's so frustrating. There's no way to know for sure. If a provider is slow, it probably means their server-side infrastructure just isn't up to snuff. Either that, or there's some software problem like, I don't know, inefficient processing or encryption. It's doing its best, but it simply cannot keep up. But sometimes there's more going on. For example, it's clear that Phylin has a server-side cap at around 2.5 megabytes per second. And the way I can tell is that's a cap and not just bad infrastructure or crappy code. This is what I test for in my unthrottled test. You see, I also run the same 5 gigabyte folder on a 1 gigabit line. That's 10 times the bandwidth. If a provider was just slow, you'd expect a speed bump with all that headroom, right? But no. Phylin still capped at 2.5 megabytes per second. Mega and Ignite both held right around 95 megabits per second. Backblaze got stuck near 100 megabits per second, right? Same numbers as on the throttled line, and that's a wall. Meanwhile, Proton Drive, which isn't capped, jumped to around 200 megabits per second. So Proton can scale if you give it enough of a fast internet connection. The capped ones, they can't, no matter how much bandwidth I throw at them. And here's the thing that might shock you. These services don't stay equal year over year. For example, I've been testing Internext every year, and they've jumped from 4 megabits per second in 2021 to 85 in 2025, mostly because they fixed a massive bottleneck in their encryption. Proton Drive went from 17.7 to 94 megabits per second, so that's another huge improvement. But sometimes it's also the opposite. IceDrive used to be one of the faster cloud services, but not anymore. It went from 95 down to 56 in just 1 year. And it's not just IceDrive. Phylin did the same thing. In 1 year, it regressed from 55 to 27. That cap I mentioned earlier, well, that's when it showed up. So if raw speed is what you care about, iDrive saturates the line, and pCloud is one of the fastest in our dataset for pure cloud storage. If this is useful so far, a like really helps us keep making content like this, so give it your thumbs up. Speed is sorted. Now let's talk about how you pay for all of this. Myth number 4 is cloud storage is a forever subscription. There is just no other way. Every big provider charges monthly or annually. Google, Microsoft, Apple, Dropbox. So that's the only model, right? Not even close. Lifetime plans do exist. Right now, Internet's 1 terabyte lifetime plan is under 300 euros, down from regular 1,900 euros. The annual renewal on the same tier is 120 euros a year. So you pay under 300 once and you break even versus the renewal price within, I would say, 2 or 3 years. After that, every year is essentially free. pCloud also runs affordable lifetime plans, especially around Black Friday. Same thing, pay once, break even in 3 to 5 years, and the rest is free. Now, imagine if you could only rent a couch. You'd pay 5 years of rent and still own nothing. That's like most cloud storage, right? Lifetime plans are buying the couch, essentially. Now, there's an honest caveat. Lifetime is obviously the lifetime of the company, not really your lifetime, right? pCloud's been around since 2013, Internext since 2020. Neither's showing any distress, I would say, but it's a real risk. I actually did a deep dive not too long ago on whether lifetime plans are actually worth it, so check that out with the link up here if you want all the numbers on lifetime plans. I'll also leave links to both pCloud and Internext lifetime offers in the description box below, so you can use those to grab one at the truly heavy discounts they offer. And while you're down there, if you want our testing notes and the latest deals straight to your inbox, the CloudWords newsletter is how you stay current. And services here, I mean, they change fast. Internext went from nearly unusable to top tier in just a few years. Phylin's speeds collapsed in only 1 year. So the links for the newsletter where you get informed is in the description box below. Okay, now money sorted. Now for the one most people will tell you not to worry about yet. We come to myth number 5, which is quantum computing. Seems like a future problem, right? The current encryption is fine. Quantum computers don't really exist yet at scale, right? The headlines say probably decades away. So why worry about it today, right? And let me tell you why. Even if quantum doesn't matter today, harvest now, decrypt later does. So adversaries are already collecting your encrypted data right now, planning to crack it once large-scale quantum systems arrive. Every file you encrypt today sits in those datasets. The day quantum arrives, they all fall at once. Now in cloud storage, the industry standard is AES 256-bit, the same encryptions banks use, and it's excellent. It's not broken today, but if it eventually falls to a quantum computer, every file you've ever uploaded falls with it. Post-quantum encryption, which means encryption that's built to hold up against quantum computers, is designed to survive that day. Internext has already migrated. They use the same standard encryption plus a layer called Kyber 512, which protects the regular encryption keys. As of now, Internext is currently the only provider with this newer encryption deployed. Proton has also said they're working on it, but so far it's still not here yet. So if you're worried about long-term security for confidential documents, this kind of encryption is real, and Internext is the option offering it today. If you're just storing family photos, the standard encryption is probably fine for now. That's the long horizon risk. Now for the one that actually catches you in the real world is myth number 6. Cloud storage is safe. Providers don't lose your data. It's the cloud, right? I mean, multiple data centers, redundancy, professional engineers running it. Everyone is smart in these companies, right? How could anything go wrong, right? Honestly, when most people picture cloud storage going wrong, they picture a hacker, you know? And that's almost never what actually happens. And here are like 4 real ways you could lose your cloud data. Number 1, sync mirroring like a delete, right? We've covered that in myth number 1, so I won't waste your time going over it again. Number 2, ransomware. It encrypts your laptop. The sync replicates the encrypted version to the cloud and you lose both, right? And number 3, account terminations. Some providers, they just terminate accounts that violate terms of service, for example, by uploading copyrighted files to their cloud. And there's number 4, provider's business failure. I mean, there's a provider called CrashPlan Home that shut down in 2018. There's Amazon Drive in 2023. And smaller services, they close every year. I mean, lifetime, as we said before, is the lifetime of the company, remember? This brings us right back to the first myth. Sync isn't backup. The most common way you lose cloud files is sync mirroring a accidental delete, which is why the 3-2-1 rule isn't optional, even if your cloud provider is rock solid. Cloud storage is safer than your laptop. It's just not infinitely safe. Treat it as 1 copy of 3. Local copy, cloud copy, second offsite copy. That is 3-2-1, and it's the only thing that's truly bulletproof. I've got a full video on this, so check that out right in the corner up here if you want a quick tutorial on how to set this up yourself. So those are the 6 myths. Sync isn't backup, the cloud isn't private by default, speed isn't bandwidth, subscriptions aren't your only option, quantum is now, and the cloud isn't infinitely safe. If you want the deep dive on why sync and backup are different, I've got a whole video on that too, and it's actually one of the most watched cloud videos on this channel. As usually, I'll leave a link up in the corner here, and that's it for today. Subscribe for more cloud storage and backup coverage. As always, thanks for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye-bye.